all over the world, at least 244 chapters around the world. And essentially, every month there is a global theme. All 244 plus chapters are asked to find someone in their community to speak on that theme. And then there's always coffee and breakfast, and hopefully some good community conversation. And so we've been lucky enough to have a chapter here in Charlottesville for 6 or 7 years at this point. At the time, I think we were the smallest city to get approved to have a chapter, which is really exciting, and happy that 6 or 7 years later, we're still going strong and y'all are showing up. So thank you. This month's theme is Crossroads, with an illustration by Joanna Niati, is how you pronounce that. And speaking of the global piece, I want to thank Adobe, who was our global sponsor. So they fund this happening around the world. They fund the virtual talks and a lot of the other things we talk about. So yeah, we're thankful for Adobe for the infrastructure that lets all this happen. There's also, if you are feeling inspired after this talk and you want to watch it again later, it'll be online. If you are like, Creative Mornings is great, I can't believe I've been missing this for 6 or 7 years. A lot of our other talks are recorded online on the Great Creative Mornings website, which I think Adobe also helps support. So thanks, Adobe. One of the other things on the website are field trips. So we have an event once a month. If you'd like, there's also Creative Mornings Shindo in Maui, which does events around, I don't know, stay in Harrisonburg, the Valley. They are only on the 4th Friday. But if you want even more Creative Mornings than that, we also have the virtual field trips, which are events on Zoom that happen throughout the week all the time. People across the global Creative Mornings community who just want to show off what they're doing. So check out creativemornings.com/field trips. And thankful for Adobe globally, but also very thankful for our local sponsors, University of Virginia Arts, New City Arts, and the Fralin Museum of Art at the University of Virginia. And we have a couple announcements from each of those. So first, for UVA Arts, Osmo, do you want to talk about?
Oh, yeah. Festival. This Friday, April 25th, is a festival of moving creatures, giant moving creatures at UVA. Wear costumes, have fun. There's going to be a parade. So we started Culbreth Theater, which is right in front of over, you know, probably Public Theater. Annie Temick and Melissa Goldman have done this class. We build these giant creatures from bamboo and cardboard and whatever else we can find. And it's a giant parade, and it's about having fun. And so come, I have little things here. If somebody wants a little reminder about when to come. Corson, you're going to come? Oh, yeah, come on. Your wings, us wear wings, sparkles, lights, you know, just it's about having fun. And our creatures are attracted to buses, is what we were told. So that's part of the whole adventure. So any more questions? Come to me. I'll still be here for a few minutes before I go back to building a creature. I'm on the head now of one of the creatures that are in. I know.
Now I'm really sad that when I leave here, I go back to making PowerPoints, and that's the left task. Maybe it's the wrong order. Oh. The Fralin slides are not on here. I'm so sorry. Can you announce them?
Why you the way it, sir?
A little bit. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hopefully he'll remember what I said. All right. Thanks, Emma. So yes, we have some fun things coming up at the Fralin, and same night as Creature Fest. Next Friday does not conflict. 5:30 is our final Friday event, and it's free, and we'll have lots of student art going on. So student art in our little museum of art, student art by a student organization, live music by student bands. We'll have pizza and snacks. It's all free. It goes from 5:30 to 7:30. I was told by Annie they will ring the creatures through in front of the Freyland. So come to the Freyland first, listen to some music, see some art, have some food, and then watch the creatures go by and follow them all the way. Sometimes Friday be a lot of fun. What's next? Jodie Falwell, who is a Pueblo potter from New Mexico, will be here to talk about her exhibition that's currently at the Freyland. She and her daughter, along with the curators, this is an amazing opportunity to hear from this really, really prolific Pueblo pottery artist who's just like groundbreaking in her field. She's 82 years old, still practicing. So that is May 11th. Happens to be Mother's Day. Also free. There will be a reception at the Freyland following. All the details are on our website. May 15th, we're doing a free miniature abstract painting workshop because we also have a Joan Mitchell exhibition up right now. So inspired by Joan Mitchell. Come do like learn how to do little miniature abstract paintings. What else do I have?
May 30th, wine and art tasting notes.
Yes, wine and art. So looking at that May 30th. Wine and art is night. The registration will be opening up for that soon. And thinking of the Little Museum, we have a new call for art for the Little Museum. If you're not familiar, it's a miniature art, small, like little freeze library type situation. Call is open now for miniature abstract paintings. So you can come to the workshop, make something, and then put it in a little free in the Little Museum of Art. So go to our website. And can you talk about the Little Free Museum and the Little Free Store? Okay, so yes, so we have a little miniature thing. I'm half Italian, so I like to talk. So the Little Museum is like a little structure outside the museum. We have miniature art that we rotate exhibitions. And when the exhibition closes, you have the option to sell your art to us, and then we place it in like a little free library of art. So you can go and take a piece of art, you can leave a piece of art. That's kind of the whole idea. So both of those little structures are outside the Freyland.
Wow.
And doesn't the Freyland also have a little coffee cart outside like our stationery?
Yeah, little copy.
Little coffee?
Yeah, on Thursdays we have a coffee cart that's at the, so she'll be coming until probably is like in late May. Once these dudes are gone, it'll wind down.
Nice. Okay. Also, thanks to our host, Lighthouse Studio, where we are right now. All right, so real fast, some, I guess, notes on the space and the organization.
Sure.
So I'm Kristen Dillahunt. I'm Operations Director here at Lighthouse. I see a lot of familiar faces returning, so thank you so much for coming back. We're so excited to have Creative Mornings back in the Vinegar Hill Theater. A little bit about Lighthouse. We teach filmmaking for rising third graders through college freshmen. Everything around filmmaking, basic filmmaking, animation, script writing, etc. We also own and operate the Vinegar Hill Theater, so we have events like this going on. We also have a lot of upcoming events. A screening here tonight with the Hummingbird Find. Tomorrow we have our Climb to Film Challenge, and then we have many other things. So if you check out our website, lighthousestudio.org, and upcoming events, you can see everything that we have going on. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm rounding out the thanks. Thank you, as always, to Ian, our videographer, and Corbin, photographer, and the Creative Mornings Charlottesville organizing team for welcoming you and printing out name tags and bringing coffee and all of that. So thanks to Emma and Jess and Corey and Maureen. If you'd like to volunteer, please let me know at charlottesvillecreativemornings.com or DM me on Instagram or say hi after. And last you know, it's before we get to this. So we do this almost and always every third Friday of the month. But I mentioned we have our sister chapter in the Shenandoah Valley, and they actually reached out and asked if we want to do a joint event with them in Crozet next month, just kind of the overlap of the Shenandoah Valley and Charlottesville-ish. And so they normally do their events on the fourth Friday, and so we're going to join them on their fourth Friday event next month. So if you are someone that actually has this on your calendar, that's very sweet. Thank you. 1 week later. And then stay tuned. June might also be interesting. We have been asked by some number of chapters were asked by Creative Mornings HQ to test out a new event format instead of doing a speaker to a crowd, something more participatory. And also something about AI. So somehow related to how we are all feeling about AI in a participatory manner, which I think is an interesting combination of provocations. So we're still feeling out what that's going to look like, but it's going to happen in June. And if you have strong feelings about AI, we'd love to hear them. So stay tuned for that. But for now, we're not talking about AI. We're talking about amazing local humans. And so I'm going to bring up Kate and David.
Ah, sweet. Quicker. Cool. Yep. Sweet. Yeah. Great. Guys, thank you so much for coming. Jeremy, thank you so much for inviting us and for doing everything you do, and all the volunteers here and everybody that Jeremy was thanking. We're really stoked. It's nice to be here.
I'm Kate.
I'm Dave. Yeah, and we are, yeah.
This is a little video of our shop. We don't have to watch the whole thing, but I don't know how many of you have visited us, but
Oh, okay, the forward button. Oh, terrific.
so we own Hello Comics. There's 2 shops in Charlottesville, and we're Charlottesville's professional nerds.
Yeah.
And this is, I think,
location, yeah.
one of the reasons I wanted to start with this video is this is kind of our shop at its best. This is Free Comic Book Day. And you might see some familiar faces in this video. But yeah, it's a big store. It was not always like this, which we will get to.
Yeah, and we didn't always plan to be a comic shop either. There we go. Yep, so that's us. Yeah, when we first started, when we first started, we thought that we were going to be art gallery owners. We had just finished up. We were. Let's see. On the next slide is where we talk about that. Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry. I've had like 3 cups of coffee. I'm zooming.
One of the nice things that we have going that David always likes to talk about is that we are married, but we're also business partners, and we cover kind of different areas of the business. I don't know what I'm doing. When Jeremy asked us to participate in Creative Mornings, the theme is Crossroads, and we had kind of a unique opportunity as married people and business partners that we have to make all of our decisions together. So we can really pinpoint when we're facing a big decision, because there has to be like a big conversation.
Yeah.
In our case, what we were planning for when we had those conversations ended up like changing completely. So we're basically going to talk about ourselves for like 15 minutes. But I promise there's lots of pretty pictures. It's, I think it's interesting, but I'm curious to see what questions you guys have afterwards.
It's been fun putting this together, kind of looking over our past decade or so of doing this.
Yeah, we've been doing this for over
12
12 years now.
Yeah.
So these are some of our like major moments of change. And kind of a plan for what we're going to talk about. So we were not comic shop owners.
The kernel of this was when Kate and I were dating for a long time. I traveled around the country selling T-shirts and prints under the name Sebe. I now sell as Things by Dave. My parents were too encouraging when I was a kid, and it's a real problem. I have a lot of unearned confidence, so Kate would work these shows with me, and we kind of made a lot of friends in like the comics and art like indie scene, like a lot of zine makers, a lot of independent comics makers, and we had this like great Rolodex of people. And one day, we had decided to move back to Charlottesville. We were engaged. Our family was here. We had been here at UVA. We'd been living in the Bay Area for a few years. And Kate's like, wrap it up.
We got 15 minutes.
Yeah, sorry. We were eating lunch at a Whole Foods on Telegraph Avenue. And Kate was like, what do you think we're going to do when we get back? And I was like, I don't know, like we had shopped at a lot. We really admired a lot of like retail gallery models, like giant robots, and Domo was one we really looked up to, like a lot of like bookstore / gallery.
And also gallery like 1988 and all of those.
Absolutely. So. And we were like, maybe let's try something like that in Charlottesville. There's
totally has the market for like a super upscale, like indie weird.
The vibrant art scene here, and we thought that maybe this is an unexplored niche that we could kind of help bring back to our town.
So, do we stay in California, or do we go home and make posters with comic book artists?
Yeah, so we've been working on screen printing today. Do screen printing well, and so we used our connections and hooked up with a lot of artists we knew. Yeah, I mean, our first few shows were pretty much exclusively like people we were just friends with and could get favors from. Like, we paid them money too, but
yeah. So foundationally, like, we started with the idea that we were going to pay the artists fairly, have limited print runs. They would keep ownership of the art. We just had permission to use it in print for a short period of time, but they had all the digital rights and all that. So once we had our first batch of posters made, we came here. We paid way too much rent.
Yeah,
we learned on the job.
Yeah, we were a little spot on 4th Street that is now Half Heart Tattoo. We've been meaning to get tattooed there just for the fun of it. It's fun to see what they've done with this space. But yeah, it is wild to see how bare these shelves look and how little these people knew about retail.
Yeah, it's nothing.
When they first started. Because we had I don't know,
I've never worked in a retail store in my life.
Yeah, and I came from like a food service and like self-employed and screen printing background.
I was a chef.
Yeah, but I think a big thing that so Kate and I had worked in a screen printing company out in Oakland, California. A big thing that our boss inspired in us there was their company motto was high road. Like, and so we always wanted to just be nice, treat people fairly. Like, that was the main motto. Dan Corcoran, Forward Printing, one of the best guys we've ever known. And so we came here. We rented a space. We worked with a local carpenter for a few weeks on putting it together, getting our shows in. Yeah. And so, we were early on. We were kind of like, very tchotchkes. Yeah, we had Thomas and a bunch of the crew from that are now Infinite Repeats.
So we did live screen printing events and tried to kind of bring some fun arts events. But our interest was clearly, you see all the comic books in there? So many comic books.
Yeah.
But people started coming in and saying like, oh, we would carry books by an artist that we were working with, and those started selling a lot better than the prints.
And books.
Kids books, yeah.
Yeah, I think the whole reason we started a kids section was someone saw like a wild picture we had in the window, and they're like, oh, I hope they have a kids section. And we overheard that, and we were like, I guess
we should probably have a kids section.
And then when we had a kid on the way, a kids section was also very big interest, and also Kate wanted a space in town where you could always get Tintin.
Yeah,
so
for sure. But yeah, so we started adding more traditional like comic shop things. Like, we got an account at Diamond Comics. We'd only been ordering from really small press indie things, Last Gasp in San Francisco and Microcosm and all these like super tiny publishers that
like artists directly.
And then suddenly we're like, oh wow, we can order Marvel and DC.
Yeah, and so this one right over here, it's the Brian Lee O'Malley variant cover for Wicked and Divine #1. This was the very first special order a customer placed with us. We did not have our Diamond account in place yet, so I called Atlas Comics and I got a pull list. And I was like, hey, could you get Wicked and Divine, Brian Lee O'Malley variant on the please?
Yeah.
Until we got our account in place.
So one of the things we'll talk about is also that we had a very friendly relationship with Atlas. So you can tell from the first slide, we definitely changed the messaging on our windows. Art and Comics.
Gallery was now Telegraph Art and Comics.
Yep. And then one day we had some friends who were also cartoonists come to town. We were walking downtown and we saw that there was a space available for lease next to Mud House. And
Yeah, and
we decided to jump on the opportunity to be a real business on the mall.
yeah, side street on the mall, especially like our first year was very rough. It like on a rainy day there would be horror Renault would come in.
Yeah.
It was
rough.
it was a lonely road at times.
So the discussion we had to have and our point where we had to like make a decision was the store wasn't really making money. Our rent was pretty high.
Yeah.
Did we take all these posters, which we're doing fine online, do we take those and we make a go for it as an online gallery? Or do we double down and start selling more of the things that we were actually selling? And we took the route that ended up here today, which was let's sell some comic books. So we had our friend Mike Holmes do our amazing artwork for our windows. We redid the logo, and I was 40 weeks pregnant. My son, thankfully, was a week late.
Yeah, so we got the keys to the new space on our son's due date.
Yeah.
But thankfully, he was a week late. There was a blizzard in town at the time. I shoveled out the entire back alley behind our store. We had to move things down the mall because we couldn't get a truck.
Yes.
There.
So we had a plan, but we also had a newborn, so the store looked like this for a couple of years.
Yeah. I always tell this story about Kate, but Kate was working so hard up until our son was born, and after, of course. But she was having contractions the day our security system was installed, and like it was getting to the point where the contractions were close enough together. I was like, Kate, we have to go to the hospital.
I was like, he's still here. We can't leave yet.
Yeah. And so we had to like grab one of the contractors who was working upstairs, but hey, could you let this guy out, lock the door behind him? We have to go,
Have a baby. So hard work is also part of this. But we're not afraid of hard work. So eventually we got there. The shop kind of looked how we wanted it to look. This is what it looks like mostly now. So we had a part-time employee. We were actually making money. Things were going really well.
Yeah, well, moving onto the mall, our business doubled
overnight.
just because people knew we were there all of a sudden.
Jake from Atlas Comics, our competitor, shopped with us occasionally because we got in some indie stuff that he didn't have access to. And we would be talking, and he mentioned he wanted to go to business school. And I started to put a bug in his ear, like, we would take really good care of your customers if you wanted to, sell to us. And just over a few months started to kind of work him down because we were, let's expand. Let's do this. Let's make this real. Let's actually do something.
And Charlottesville is shaped in such a way with that big long corridor of 29. There was really no way for us to open a second location anywhere good that wouldn't be like a direct, like, step onto like Atlas, and they were like a mainstay of the comics community. Kate bought her.
I bought my first comic book there.
Yeah, from Bo, and like we didn't want to like be like F you guys. We liked Atlas. We didn't want it to be like a competitor thing.
Yeah.
So
how it happened was I would take my car with my baby in the back and park out front of an empty jiu-jitsu studio across from the End Games when it was for lease. And I would literally eat my lunch and stare at the empty building and the for lease sign and be like, we have to do this. We're going to do this. We have to do this. This is such a good idea. We have to do this. I think I did that 4 times like a serial killer. And then one day, driving down McIntyre, I saw Jake's very recognizable car drive past me, and he was going to Staples. And I remember being like, this is it. I'm doing it. Let's do this. And I did a U-turn illegally. And I went into that Staples. I grabbed 2 things off of the closest things to the register. I think it was a computer mouse and a USB drive. And then I ran into him in the parking lot and was like, hey, we really should like actually sit down and have a conversation. We really like we want to make this work. We've talked about it. We've been dancing around it. And can we take you guys out, you and your wife out for barbecue and really like talk about how we would do this if we're going to do this? And we did that. And
yeah, I was in Ruckersville. It must have been a Monday because we were both off that day. I was in Ruckersville, like goofing around antique stores. I get a text from Kate. She's like, "I saw Jake. I'm gonna go for it.
I'm going for it."
She was like, and like 20 minutes later, she's like, "We're having dinner with Jake and Ann Mason this Friday."
Yeah, that's how I text in a very angry voice. So we had a very like friendly and supportive kind of conglomeration. I don't know how you say it, but absorption of Atlas
so Jake
Comics.
worked with us for a few months on like kind of onboarding us and telling us about like the ins and outs of ordering with his customers, and like there was so much we had to learn from Jake.
Yeah.
Because
This last one, Get Help, he literally would come to our house and teach us how to do things we didn't know how to do. Like suddenly we went from having 40 subscribers to like 200 plus.
yeah,
And how to effectively order from Diamond and how to manage all these things.
and he told us like the ins and outs of each customer, like, hey, this guy likes covers
Yeah.
with this person on the blah blah blah. Like,
So we learned a lot.
yeah, and we had so much to learn about like how to handle monthly subscribers and single issue comics. And Jake was great. I remember one night Jake was over at our house, and we were ordering, and something came up, and like Kate and I just started like rapid fire bantering back and forth, and Jake was like, "Wow, yeah, there's two of you. I forgot that there's two of you."
That is another advantage we have. Yeah.
Yeah,
So there's two of us.
Um,
So other things we've learned from Jake and other people is how to sell comic books and how to order them. We did not, again, remember, we opened an art gallery.
I thought sort of already to a comic shop before. Like, I mean, Maurice, you've been there since like the beginning of like.
Yeah.
Like we met Maurice when we like
Yeah.
took over the Atlas spot, and he was one of the longtime subscribers there, and so he watched our sweaty selves learn.
Figure things out and make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
So we also learned like how to buy comic collections, how to price things, how to train other people to sell comics, how to fire employees, which was new, the worst.
But also how to keep good ones, which is very important.
And then weirdly practical things like I know how to apply vinyl signs now. We installed our own floor. That nice shiny floor at Uptown, we did ourselves, and it was a nightmare.
But I beat the top coat because I had to do the top coat by myself. Our son got sick. I had to use hot coat. I beeped it so bad. It burns me to this day.
So, and there's all these like big skills, like how to make a television commercial, and now I write at the like all the spots for our radio ads and that stuff. A lot of bigger things and smaller things, skills that we never knew that we were going to need. How to run payroll, small business taxes, how to register a corporation in Virginia without a lawyer, how to apply for a trademark. We actually have a Hello Comics trademark now, yes. And how to reapply for a trademark with a lawyer. And also how to install a toilet. And now the thing I'm learning on the job is how to plan a national event for our industry because, so.
Kate is on the board of Comics Pro, which is kind of the closest things that comics workers have to a union. So yeah, she is bringing these skills to a national level, working with other comic shop owners, and
One of them, well, one of the things we discovered in this process was needing that help to take advantage of like what we were doing and do the best we could do. We joined this organization that has a lot of like conferences and educational opportunities, and a huge support system online, and they really helped us. So we're trying to give back.
Yeah.
So this is what the space that was the jiu-jitsu studio looks like.
Taekwondo. I had to rip up.
Taekwondo, sorry.
Rip up all their nasty carpet. And grind their floor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was a summer.
And then the store was looking great. I don't know if you know Yusuf from Dirty Nellies. But he was working for us at the time, and we had everything great and nice. And then COVID. We literally finished that commercial and we're prepping for Virginia Festival of the Book, and then had to shut down. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, we are spending so much every month to advertise on television a store that is closed.
Yeah.
So we had just bought Alice. We had people who still didn't know we had moved. Our staff had doubled. So we made the choice to lay off our staff temporarily.
But this was very smart. Kate made it like you were like, hey, everyone's gonna be applying for unemployment.
Yeah,
Let's get
we helped
Friday
everybody.
first, and
Yeah.
so we helped everyone get on unemployment and get them that support system while we had to be completely closed.
Our landlords were extremely cool. Please buy Stinson Vineyard wine. They let us basically not pay rent or pay half rent for about a year.
Scott Stinson was a lifesaver.
So we came back with a plan. And the plan was we had bought this shop that had a lot of back issues that had been sitting there for sometimes more than 10 years. So really cheap comic books that weren't really doing anything for us other than taking up space. So what we did is we took those comics and we packed them in 50 packs and made an item on Amazon that was like, hi, buy a 50 pack of random comic books and we'll ship it to your door. And that worked really well.
Yeah, everyone was at home. Everyone wanted to look at comic books. That
Yeah.
was like that kept us afloat.
We literally filled a USPS truck. We set up curbside pickup, local delivery. We had an online app that also saved our butts.
We did Facebook Live shows.
Yeah, this was my show on the Comic Shop Shopping Network that was set up. That is still running strong. If you want to watch live stream people sell comic books, it's very big.
Yeah, and we had actually just gotten some we brought our employees back on, and we're doing slowly reopened.
Yep, our masked free comic book day. And so we're like, okay, we survived.
Yeah.
Let's take a minute. Let's breathe. Let's just keep making things better. Let's just keep. So we kind of were taking a look back and talking about a lot. I think where were we? Were we on vacation? Of course, talking about work on vacation. And we're like, the store's really different from how it started.
There was also like a Facebook memory will pop up of us in the store, and we're like, oh, there's nothing on the wall, there's nothing on the shelves, these idiots.
Yeah. And this store is really different from this store. So we decided a full rebrand was in order to reflect that we are embracing our comic shop destiny.
Yeah.
And put the gallery behind us fully.
Yeah, we do still do art shows and stuff, but yes.
So we rebranded to Hello Comics. Yep. Sorry.
And we were banding about a lot of different names. Kate and I we have matching little dragon tattoos that we got at a comics con. So I did float the idea of Twin Dragons Comics.
Yeah.
But we thought that would be a little too double dragon. So we went with Hello Comics because we thought it would be a great way to answer the phone. Just Hello Comics.
Yeah.
And I completely stole that idea from the Beastie Boys album Hello Nasty.
Yes.
Because they named that after someone who would answer the phone, Hello Nasty. I think it was like a record company like Nasty Records or something, I forget. But
so we doubled down on the things that we were doing well. Kids books, we took that original color scheme from the old store and brought it here and really pumped it up. Worked on our signage. We started, we did more like outreach. This was one of my favorite things we did, which was a book raiser for the Boys and Girls Clubs because their library was empty. So we just kind of really leaned into the color scheme.
Yeah, and education and getting comics into the hands of kids has become a really important thing for us. About how many schools do we service with Free Comic Book Day now?
I'm not sure about the number. It's over a dozen schools and libraries, but it's about 6,000 free comic books that we're giving out this year. Yeah.
Yeah. So with Free Comic Book Day is a annual event. Pretty much all comic shops do it to some degree or another. I remember the first year we participated, we had a small stack at the counter of comics, and we're like, oh hey, and meanwhile up the road Atlas was like throwing freaking
Yeah.
things out the door and doing
They're
a big tent sale.
amazing. Yeah.
We're like, here are the confetti.
Yeah. And this year we've ordered, I believe, 12,000 free comics.
But yeah, it's, the first Saturday in May 3rd. Come on by. We'll be doing it proper Atlas style. Jake, by the way, is now one of our employees. It's great having him on board, and he's a great friend and just an amazing part of the team. But yeah.
So we apparently did something right. We got nominated for the Will Eisner Spirit of Retail Award, which is like,
Oh, thank you.
it's the Oscars of comics. And we got to fly out to San Diego Comic-Con for the award ceremony. I was so confident that we were not going to win because it was our first year that I did not write an acceptance speech, which gave me a panic attack at the table when I realized, oh no, there's a chance. But we did not win.
Yeah, it was us, a very nice shop in Spain called Akira Comics that has won the award previously. Blackbird Comics and Coffee, who ended up winning. Bat City Comics, a tremendous shop who we love. And Comics Experience is Ryan Hibbs' shop. Yeah, a mainstay of the San Francisco comic scene. Like, it was a lot of heavy hitters. And
We didn't stand a chance, but it literally was an honor to be nominated.
Yeah.
So right now we're in kind of a holding pattern. Just
We've got a 3-year-old and a 9-year-old, so a lot of our energy is taken up mostly by the 3-year-old. She's kind of the boss of the house.
yeah,
The 9-year-old is great too, but the 3-year-old demands a lot.
yeah. But I mean, as part of that, we definitely are still chasing that Eisner Award. I would really like that. I would really like to win that.
Me too.
So that's kind of our destination ahead of us now. We're gonna get it. Might not be this year, but we're gonna get it. And nominations are open until 3 p.m. today.
Yeah, so the way the Eisners work is, there are nominations, open nominations, and then from those nominations, they invite a select group of shops to put together a video, like information packet. And previous years, that's the furthest we've made it, was the only information packet. And then from all those videos, they pick 5 to be the finalists to invite San Diego. So hopefully we'll make it again this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much, guys.
I know where we are. Do you guys have questions? I know we talked. Sorry. Oh.
I wanted to start, I guess, with when you got the nomination. Did they give you any sort of feedback as to like what's special about the shop, what they're recognizing about the shop, and kind of?
The thing that they're looking for is professionalism. Like they're looking for shops that are setting a standard that is maybe not associated with like the comic book shop guy from The Simpsons. We're talking like so they're looking for places that are well designed, thoughtful signage,
Doing something new, bringing something new to the table. Really just
and community outreach.
Outreach is a big one.
So that's one of the places I think that we excel as a shop is working with our comics in the classroom program.
So what part of that we glossed over a bit earlier, but yeah, basically teachers can reach and librarians can reach out to us and be like, hey, I've got 600 kids between 1st and 5th grade. Can you hook us up some free comics? And so we
do it
every free comic book day. Yeah. It started off small. I think the first year we partnered with JMRL and like Tasha's amazing. They're all amazing. So we did JMRL and then we just kept expanding. So we meet so many cool teachers.
The feedback that I've gotten from the judging committee at Eisner's for us was that we didn't seem excited enough to be nominated.
Yeah. So what?
That we didn't put our video on. Everybody else put their video on YouTube, and we kind of played it a little closer to the vest, and apparently we should have put our video online and hyped it.
We'll do that this year.
So we're hyping it. Yeah. We're hyping it this year.
Yeah.
The other thing they really hate is white comic boxes, like cardboard boxes. If they see one of those in your video.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
like
you
those.
didn't tell me that.
We don't have any.
That's true. But I
Um,
didn't hear that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions?
So I have a friend that's doing like kind of electric screen penalties, and so she's now doubles, so she doesn't have the big back and work between two people. But so one of the challenges that she's going up against is like production debts, or which you could be probably in a comic book, or how do you keep up with something? But what point do you pivot, or what decision do you make to be like, I think she said she has like essentially an order that will take 60 full hours to do and prep. But what recommendation do you have for like, it's just hire someone? How do you get massive order or continuation of
There's a
Look at the math and figure out if it's worth her hours.
A lot of people that we worked with in our screen printing days, they work in what's called contract printing. So, it's like people in that position like know screen printing, and they have like wholesale connects to get the blanks or whatever they're printing on at a good price. You find a shop that will print on your blanks. It's called contract printing. Basically you supply the garments and they print like a fee of, they charge like a fee per garment. Maybe your friend just becomes like that person who's like the middleman between like another shop that has like a larger production scale, like maybe has that automatic press that can just bang these out. If we're talking 60 man hours to get that done, I think try and find another shop that can handle the workload and just take a bit off the top rather than doing all the work yourself and taking all that money. I'm happy to give, if you want to get my email address after this, I'm happy to talk that, because I was a screen printer for 10 years and Kate was in the industry working in sales. Like, we have a very deep background in that, so I'm always happy to help. And I can recommend shops too. Yeah, of course.
So following on that, what's going on with Things by Dave?
Oh, thank you. So I'm personally spread in a lot of different directions as a father, business owner, goof maker online, and I also have a full-time remote job copy editing and proofreading for a manga company. During lockdown, I started doing proofreading for a manga publisher, and then after I proofread about 100 books for them part-time, they were like, oh, hey, do you want to be like a full-time guy? And so I do that also. Things by Dave. I just make fun little goofs online. I feel like that is the area of my life that gets the most neglected. But I do think it's funny that, the year that I took a step back from the comic shop to have this full-time remote gig, which I essentially took so we could take less money from the business and focus on putting more money back into it and paying our employees more. The year that I took a step back from the business is the year we became Odd Year finalists. Feel like
Just coincidence.
Just get this jerk out of here.
Just stick around.
I'm still there a few days a week, but yeah, I enjoy making little goofs, and since it's not my main source of income, it's just fun. It's basically a hobby that pays for itself. It's dad tinkering in the garage. It's my little thing.
It's too rude to include in Creative Mornings, but Things by Dave did just drop a banger. It's on Instagram.
But things by Dave. Yeah, I just make yeah.
Yeah.
But that is neither here nor there. It is, or I guess it's there.
Yeah.
But yes. Yeah, thank you. Anyone else? Ian, yes.
Yeah, one of your bullet points of things that you earned was treating employees well. Mm-hmm. And I was curious, like, obviously for a big corporation, you can promote them, blah, 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 right? I was curious for like a small time business, what have you learned about just treating employees well that you could apply for like treating people better in your everyday life?
Yeah, people have concerns and you want to address them. Like we had some instances where we almost lost good employees because we hadn't identified what the problem was. Like we had an instance where we almost lost one of our employees because we kept pouring training and work into a bad employee that wasn't working out. And we're like, we had already invested so much time and energy trying to make this person work. We were like, let's just try. And it was grating on everyone else because everyone else was like feeling underappreciated because we were pouring so much energy into this one bad employee. And we realized that was the source of the problem. It's all about just, relating to people and figuring out what the problem is and how you can help them and like addressing their needs and stuff.
Paid time off is more important than you think.
Yeah.
And take into account, people's needs. We've we've actually increased a lot of our payroll costs lately because we're aware that prices are probably going to go up. So everybody got raises,
Yep.
which is not great for us, but it's good for everybody as a whole. And
Yeah.
we're very we try to be transparent about our decision making. And you mentioned Dan Corcoran earlier, our old boss. One of the things he said that has really stuck with me for years, oh my gosh, and emotional, was
This guy's amazing. We love this guy.
there was not a crisis, but a dilemma at our old job, and he trusted me to take care of the situation. And the only thing he said was, make a choice you'd be proud to tell your mom about. And I was like, oh man, okay, that's easy. Now I know what to do. So we've kind of kept that. I think that's in our employee handbook, is like, make good choices. We trust you. So we try to be good bosses.
Yeah, I tried being a mean guy like the first 20 years of my life and it didn't work out too well. So now I'm a nice guy.
Yeah, so you're pretty nice.
Yeah.
Does that answer the question?
Can you talk about keeping two spaces seemed like a lot, right? What was the decision around not consolidating them, or do you see the spaces as fulfilling different roles?
Absolutely.
Very different roles. So our downtown space is essentially a billboard.
Yes.
We've printed the people that come through are a lot of tourists and a lot of families who are having a nice day on the mall. So we stock a lot of kids books to keep the local demographic happy, and manga for that.
Manga absolutely crushes there.
And when tourists come in, our manager Carrie can identify people who are there looking for comic books that are single issues.
Yeah.
And we've printed literally thousands of these small cards that are to hand to those people that say, there's another one.
Yeah.
And it has directions to the other shop.
Yep, and we keep just enough. So we've tried doing single issues and vintage.
We tried for years.
We crammed that space full. We had
filing cabinets.
Yeah. Oh, it was a mess. It was very tightly packed, just barely ADA acceptable.
We made it look good, but it was
We did our
tight.
best. But now we keep just enough vintage comics there so that when we see someone, we're like, oh man, this is a vintage comic.
Yeah.
Instantly Carrie or whoever's working there is just like, hey, if you like these, we've got 90,000 more of them just up the road. So yeah, the downtown spot makes money, but it also is a big flashing sign pointing towards the big store, as we call it. But yeah, they each have a different vibe, and it's important in our this motion, whatever this motion is, our grand scheme of things, I guess. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, we're a little worried about the downtown store with the possible giant hotel going up across the street. That's not great for us.
Yeah, if we losing Violet Crown would be a real stinker.
Yeah.
Losing the ice rink was a stinker. We always lose good things on the downtown mall.
We're not losing Violet Crown.
We are?
We're not?
Well, so we have anything to do about it.
Good. I'll show up for those meetings. Let's do it. Yeah. So that is a little troubling, and that will probably be our next big discussion.
Yeah.
Whether or not. But I love that store. I always know exactly how old that store is because my son was born. So I was like, well, how old is Ben? That's how old the store is. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
This is less of a question, just to acknowledge I absolutely loved hearing your story. And thank you so much for the way you sculpted it around Crossroads Day. And I just was so fortunate that you are part of our community.
That's so nice.
I'm an artist, and I'm always fascinated when like your journey is very much like any artist's journey. It's like, this doesn't make sense. How are we gonna do this? Let's do it. And it's just really inspiring.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, we're so blessed to be here in Charlottesville with like cool stuff like this, and like, I mean, just there are so many people out there doing so many cool things, and we're just, you know, little fish in the ponds.
Just little nerds chugging away.
I mean, we've talked about, you know, the possibility of opening another location in another city, but like nowhere is like Charlottesville that's near us. Like I feel like we would have a not the roughest go in any other city, but like we really have it good here, and we're really blessed to be part of this community. And we really we're so thankful. I mean, especially through like the harder times like COVID, and like when we were starting out, like everyone has just been so supportive and so cool, and like we couldn't ask for a better town to be in. So thank you.
I don't even read comics, but I'm gonna share.
Oh, we can make some good recommendations.
Flip it for everybody.
Yeah. That's one of the really cool things that also is about our stuff is between us, we kind of have everything covered. Like, I'll be honest, I like some Marvel. I'm really a DC girl, and I like the weird like science fiction and horror stuff. And then David's our manga guy, and then like Anna is our Marvel expert. And then there's other people that are into like the deep 90s Vertigo stuff. And everybody's got something they can cover. And it's when someone comes in and asks a question at like a customer, if we don't know the answer, there is no problem in saying, I don't know. I don't know, but we're going to find out. Like, we're going to go talk to Stephen and figure out what you need. It's nice working with a team.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I believe I saw one over here, and then we'll get to Jasmine, or none over here, and then we'll go to Jasmine, and then we'll go to Maurice. Or Jasmine, what can we do for you?
Yes, so I have enjoyed the story as much, and my child's first comic came from. I love that. But my question is for like an elementary aged, a school child, like a parent of elementary aged child. How far into the educational side of comics do you all venture? And I ask this because I just came across this company called Beast Academy, and they do math in the comic format. And I was like, this is super interesting, but it makes me curious, but what else is out there? So what do you do in the education space?
We are limited by time and having 2 children, but we want to do more than we currently do. The Comics in the Classroom program is pretty much the extent of what we can do right now. But there are people out there doing amazing things that we kind of lean on. Our friends at Bat City Comics in Florida put together educational programs and then share those materials with other stores that sign up. And I think we're one of like 4 other stores that is part of it.
There's also a lot of great nonfiction stuff out there.
Yeah.
Science Comics is a terrific series. Our son like just devours graphic novels, and I mean, I think he read Human Body Theater, which is like just top to bottom, all about the human body. He had a lot of questions I was not expecting to have to answer at 6 when he got to like this zone. But yeah. So there's a lot of great like educational stuff in there that Trojan horses its way in as like a fun comic.
There is actually a Girl Scout comic making badge that like our plan is next year to start helping them fulfill that. So there's all kinds of stuff that we want to do that our 3-year-old is kicking our butt, and we're not quite in the place to do yet, but there's plans.
Yeah, but and we've been leaning on the community as well. For instance, we have a book club that makes shop, and we had so when we first started, we did a book club because we didn't have kids and we had the time, and we were like, yes, let's read these books, let's dive in, and
let's stay at the store till 9 o'clock.
Yeah, and then we ran out of that time.
Yeah.
But there was a guy in the community, Kyle, great guy. He would come by, and every few weeks he'd be like, hey, you guys got a book club yet? You guys got a book club yet? And finally he was like, can I run a book club at your shop? And
we're like, yes.
There's this
book
club. Yeah, we give them the space, we give them donuts and coffee, and they're called the Goodbye Comics Comic Club.
Yeah. All we do is we help them recruit new members through our website, and then once someone signs up, all of that goes directly to the organizer. And then we do not pick the books because we didn't want it to become a thing of us like trying to sell things to our book club. So they tell us what they've chosen, and we scramble to get it. Yeah, I think the next stage for that one is a teen book club, because right now it's for adults. But the book club has like doubled in size.
Yeah,
I
they're
think.
great. And
wild.
we've sat in on a few of them, and it's a ton of fun. It's really welcoming community, and they're every session there will be like first timers and people who are like, wow, I never like looked at comics kind of in this way. Like it's if you ever have like a spare Saturday morning, is it monthly or every 2 weeks?
It's every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks, that's right. Yeah. Sorry, dad brain. Our 3-year-old woke me up at 5 and I just kind of stayed up. But yeah.
Kicking our butts.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I think you can see a lot of our like Bert and Ernie's dynamic update. There's
You had a question?
I've been sitting here trying to formulate this into a question. That's at least initially, I'll just comment. And I think this goes to your kind of roots of like indie, and so one of my favorite things about, and I've followed you guys all the way through all of this as a customer, but having the zines is such an amazing thing. I spent a lot of time with comic books as a kid, and then did a lot of kind of zine stuff, and so my daughter's first comic book came from your shop, and but also being able to go back on these very created by people, not by companies or whatever, and to take that home and pull it apart and show her, and have that conversation, like you guys helped facilitate that conversation that I had with her about making art, which was, thank you.
Yeah,
that's awesome. And if you are a zine guy, here are the shows you've got to check out that are like very good, very easy drive. Sucks, the Stanton Underground Comic and Zine Fest. Ryan Brosmer is an absolute powerhouse. He
does a great job.
He does a great job putting together a really cool show. It's like
kid friendly.
Stanton. Yeah, kid friendly. The next one is called like Sucks for Oops All Zines, and just all zine makers, so you should definitely check it out.
Charlottesville Zine Fest.
Yeah, Charlottesville Zine Fest. That's every September or October, something like that.
I'll be honest.
But they're great. Let's see. SPX up in Bethesda, Maryland is every September. That's a tremendous show. And Richmond Zine Fest.
We also have comic crafting and time on Sundays at the store, where we pull out old comics and art supplies and set up a table with chairs, and it's kind of just an open studio where you can come in and draw some comics if you want.
So yeah, or just goof. The other thing that I would say is like somebody who's always kind of had this dream of having a shop on the downtown mall, or just like having a bookshop. That's like my dream, and kind of living vicariously through folks like you who are not as terrified as I am of taking on leasing one of these places.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wonder if you could comment on. I think I can always find reasons not to do it, and you talk a lot in the beginning of your talk. You talk about like the decision making process. I guess a little bit, and I wonder. When you're thinking about doing something like this, you want to have a business plan, and you want to plan, but I wonder if you guys could, you commented for the past half an hour, 45 minutes, whatever on this, so maybe I'm missing something, but
how to get that.
You just told me is very inspirational. I don't know.
You can do it.
Yeah.
It's terrifying, and it doesn't always work out.
There were a lot of nights,
we wanted to sell posters.
and there were a lot of nights we thought about closing, like especially when it was just that first little spot in the downtown mall and no one was coming in, and we were like just fighting to let people know we existed. I
think when a part of it, we got really lucked out. I think luck is definitely part of that, like having that moment to make that decision. and you just have to kind of trust yourself that you're gonna do it. I know one thing about me and David is like we're not afraid of hard work. The night we took over Alice, we literally signed the papers, and you were there until like 4 a.m.
Just
We're just
rearranging and moving.
cleaning and rearranging and changing, and I've never sweat like that in my life.
There are also, before you go and like sign a lease, which is a big thing, there are plenty of like little steps you can do to sell books. I think there's lots of great like craft and indie markets here in town. You know, do a pop-up, try and like build a mailing list, try and like get a feel for it, you know, and just you can put in, you know, a bit of money and like, you know, whatever's comfortable for you, like enough into like inventory and like some signage and like, you know, maybe like a little 10 by 10 pop-up tent, and or like, you know, a nice tablecloth and something that you can walk away from, you know, because now we're this big giant thing with 1 million moving parts and employees, you know, you don't have to get a lease to like try and sell things. Like there's lots of like,
I understand that dream of having a spot on the downtown mall though, because I worked on the downtown mall when I was in high school, and I remember being like, I'd like to have a store down here one day. Yeah. It's a challenge, but it's good.
yeah. Oh, all right. Is that our?
I'm so sorry.
I think I'm gonna 3 people thingy to get
Yeah,
there.
sorry.
Guys, thank you so much. And like I said, if anyone has any questions, hit us up. We're easy to find online. You can. Yeah. Sorry, I'll stop.
No, I would probably say the same thing. And also, you all can. People have questions, like they all down the sticker app.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And I think there'd probably, if you work a student outside, and probably a little more coffee outside. There'll be, you grab some on the way. And yeah, hope to see you all at the next Creative Morning.